And we're live. We're here. It's finally starting. We are back for the Open Tour Benelux Summer Split. After all these months waiting. And I'm not alone. My name is Jan Bobojo Werner. And this is my boy. Jasper
Thought you were
Bobojo
going to
Gebelder.
Thanks. I was waiting for an introduction.
I was looking which way to point, because, left, right, upside down stuff.
Sounds perfect. I am indeed Jasper Bobojo Gebelder, and you are indeed Jan Bobojo Werner. And we are back for this open tour with some 7 a.m. Academy team games today. 3 at least, hoping for more for 7 a.m. of course. But we'll see. Top 2 should go through to the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken. There might be some tiebreakers. There might not be. We'll have to wait and see. And game 1 should be against Gamebuddies, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna slide right into that one any minute. What do we have to say about these teams?
I'm gonna have to hold on for a second, because apparently we are going to use ProDraft instead of the client draft. So as good old open tour fashion, our stream setup wasn't made for this. So I'm gonna have to adjust it a little bit. So how about you talk about everything that's gonna happen with these teams while I do an emergency fix of the stream?
No, I have to. Let's do this on the spot. Well, not really on the spot. We have some preparation, of course, because we're beasts. So Team 7 a.m., Gamebuddies. Quick overview of Team 7 a.m., as they will be the ones who are going to be... hold on, I'm getting a question here. Okay. Spectator. There it is. So quick overview of Team 7 a.m. to start with, because they will be the ones that we're going to, of course, be watching more of today than any of the other teams, as we are, of course, on the 7 a.m. channel. Giggity, let's go. Elijah top, Obi in the jungle, Flynit mid lane, and then we have Sono and Adamed in the bottom side of the map. They have... Most of them are really, as you'd expect, of course, are pretty meta-heavy players. Elijah is maybe the most, and Flynit are maybe the most not meta player-ish kind of people. However, top lane is kind of a weird thing. He has a lot of bruisers in there. Things like the Aatrox, the Wukong, the Camille. Are in there. He does have things like a Gnar, like a Set in there as well. Those aren't really prio picks for him, but he is able to play them, of course. Jungle is very meta heavy with Hecarim, Morgana, of course, lately coming in there. Graves is still in there as well. Even Xin Zhao and Rumble are part of his pool. So, he's going to be able to pick out what is necessary. Flynit on those Kassadin, Silas, Lucian, crazy mid laners a bit more, not the typical traditional control magey, or even things like a Syndra with a burst on top of a control. And then the bottom lane is fairly simple, with basically every single AD carry being able to Sona's being able to play every single AD there is. And then there's Adamed, who plays, the normal things. Thresh, Rel. He does have Bard as well, which is a bit of an interesting one. Doesn't get played that often. Is more of a roamy support with those journeys with the ultimate, of course. And we do have Flynit, who has played a tiny little bit of Viego in lane as well. So it could be interesting to see if that one's going to come through today. I don't think it will. But, yeah, I mean, we never know, right? And of course, on the other side, there is Gamebuddies.
I'm gonna interrupt you because we're flying into the draft already. Let's giggity go. And yeah, you can say these Gamebuddies. Who are these guys? What are they gonna pick?
Gamebuddies. I have no idea who they are. I think they're the most unknown team in the group, at least for me. They have a bit more interesting picks. The bottom lane is fairly simple with things like Leona, Kai'Sa, all that stuff. The top lane, however, Riven, Gragas, Gangplank, all part of his pool, which aren't really things that are played 24/7 these days.
Alright, stream has been fixed, emergency averted. That being said, we're flying in this draft. If the music is too loud or anything, let us know in the chat so we can fix this, make it as pleasant as possible for everyone. And yeah, we're seeing some bands already coming through: Thresh, the Viego, the Silas, which are definitely necessary bands, because the Silas for flying is very, very nasty. It's one of his most played champs.
Silas is not only one of his most played champs, but it's also a champion that against 7am could be really good to take out, because you have things like a Hecarim, a Morgana in there, Jhin ult, Bard ult, Rel ult, all those things that can be taken away by the Silas, of course. And there's quite some champions on the side of Team 7am that would be interesting to take ults away from, as we do see the first picks coming in. Ezreal Yuumi actually looking to come through here for Gamebuddies. 7am has opted to go for their jungler first pick, Hecarim, and then followed by Karma, who could of course go top, mid and support, assuming it will go support, however.
Kha'Zix being locked in here for Gamebuddies as well. I am surprised that they're going for... No, not really surprised they're going for this heavy damage comp, but I don't see any great tank players in Gamebuddies champion pool. Which means that if you do not have a tank on the support, the Yuumi is super squishy, you do not have a tank in the jungle, and your top laner doesn't really play it either. So I wonder if he's going to go a little in a more uncomfortable pick to add to this team, or if they are going to go all out on the damage field.
All out on the damage field. The last bands coming in here as well. Leona being actually taken away from Adamid, or at least from 7am, which is kind of an interesting one. Didn't really see that in his pool. Mainly saw it in the pool for Gamebuddies, so banning it away from themselves. Maybe they don't want to combine it with the Kai'Sa that they do see on the side of 7am. Of course, Adamid has things like an Alistar and Thresh, which is and Rel, which are very well combined with Kai'Sa as well. So Leona, kind of an interesting, maybe a little bit of a weird ban in my opinion. Yone being taken away as well, as Pentanim likes both Yasuo and Yone. And these days Yone is being played quite substantially by, you know, everyone around the world. So it's probably better to get rid of the Yone than the Yasuo. And also Nautilus being taken away. They do not want to combine the heavy CC with Kai'Sa in the bottom lane.
Yeah, what I'm afraid of is as well, they have an AD Ezreal now, an AD Kha'Zix, and their mid laner Pentilum, he loves playing those AD mid laners. So they are going towards full AD comp, unless he's picking something which he doesn't play that much. He has the Akali as well as a possibility. It is still open, so he could go for it. But with the tanky lineup that 7am has at the moment, they don't want to go full AD, because they can just stack armor in the game and then it's gonna be so hard for them to go through. So I am expecting some form of AP damage in the solo lanes.
I hope they bring out some AP damage. Of course, they do have the Gragas stop, for example, is a an option to put in some AP in this team. However, it's gonna be Viger being picked up here for the mid lane, and followed up by, it looks like it's gonna be an Ornn in the top lane to have some sort of front line, some sort of engage that then, of course, can be followed up by the Ezreal Yuumi. And gives Veigar a little bit of an easier stun once a couple people are knocked up, can put the cage around them, and then of course they're stuck. It does get locked in, and then as we said, Rel, of course, is an option for the bottom lane support. That does mean Karma is not going to be going towards the bottom lane, but should be going mid or top, as Kassadin gets locked in as the final pick here.
Yeah, and that being said, those last two picks for Gamebuddies makes their comp so scary at this point. You have an amazing amount of engage and CC there, because or engage, you have the Yumi that go on top of basically everyone. Kha'Zix can jump in with it, Ezreal can jump in to do all those AoE crowd control abilities. So if they get the engage, you're not gonna move, and that's basically the biggest counter for a Kassadin who is so mobile, is that you can lock him down. So you have the insurance with the Kassadin late game, of course, he can jump over that Vigor cage, but if he gets caught once, he's not gonna move, because they're gonna chain everything together.
Gonna be interesting to see if they're able to chain that CC, of course. On the side of 7am, they have the Kassa win. They have the win condition in the mid lane. We all know if Kassadin hits level 16 and he gets a couple kills throughout the game, he can be a huge nuisance for the enemy team. It's going to be really difficult for him, for Gamebuddies to lock him down. Yes, they have a lot of CC with the cage and the knock-up, etc, etc. Of course, Kassadin can just rift walk and even flash out of all of those things. They have a lot of mobility on their side. Hecarim has movement speed, Karma with the shields and the movement speed buff, Kai'Sa has the ult, and of course her invisibility as well. And then Rel with the engage, the jump. So they do have some possibilities to get out of the CC. Of course, 7am has their own engage. If Rel and Hecarim are able to jump in and find the engage for Team 7am, it's gonna be interesting to see if Gamebuddies is able to peel back. They do have the team to be able to do so. At least they should have the team to be able to do so.
It's gonna be one team fight heavy game where it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be a slow start, is what I see here. But once those champions reach the 2-3 item mark, they're gonna start grouping and they're gonna go for the team fights. Early game, I'm not expecting as much fights, or you could say teleports to other lanes. I really do think they want to scale. You see it on both sides. Veigar scales enormously well with the Ornn. Yumi becomes so relevant. She is good for sustaining laning phase, but it is once she can pop off and go on a member that is ahead to really start that snowball going. And you have a Kha'Zix who does that so well. So with Yumi, you're not gonna get away from that. And on the other side, you have the Kai'Sa and the Kassadin, who love to have long games, who love to get those items. So it's really hard to say in this case which comp scales better. It will be highly dependent on how they will execute those fights, because honestly, I love both of these drafts. They're a little bit off meta, that's fair, but I love it.
Yeah, they are relatively off meta. Of course, especially Gamebuddies is pretty off meta with the Ezreal Yumi. It used to be really strong. I mean, it's not weak at the moment. It's just not as good as it used to be.
It's not overpowered anymore.
Exactly. Of course, most of that has to do with Yumi's nerfs on the mana cost for her healing. On the other side, Team 7am, yeah, they have some strange picks. Kassadin isn't really picked up that often, but he's still in a super strong position, in my opinion, with Everfrost put into his build these days. He can be really strong. Karma top is an interesting one as well. Bit of an unexpected one, as Elijah mostly plays more of the fighter bruiser types, and now he's going to be a utility poke champion. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays that one out. And then, yeah, Hecarim, Kai'Sa, Rel, not really off meta. They're pretty safe picks, pretty normal picks as well.
However, the Hecarim, yes, had a lot of changes in the last patches, because they, yeah, after of course the new items this season, he was in this state of utterly broken, needs to be nerfed, but we don't want to destroy him because it's not because of the champ, but because of the items, and they've started to change those items as well. Of course, the nerf on That Man's Plate, health being lowered, and the changes to Hecarim has been more like a shift to where you just are not allowed to build him full tank and destroy someone with the damage that he has. They really want to shift him to scaling better with AD. So if you want to have that same impact of the damage, you need to build the damage on him, and it will be a more effective build. So we'll see how Obi is gonna adapt to those changes this game. Is he gonna go for the heavy tank Hecarim with, of course, the Chem Tank mythic item and the Deadman's Blade and all those things? Or is he going for a more damage heavy build? I'm thinking of a Triforce that you could go on him. So we'll see how he's going to play it. I feel like if he gets ahead, go for the damage, man. Just run in and destroy them.
Run in, do it.
Run
Go
in,
for it.
gallop, ponium. That's what it was.
Yeah, of course, with Chem Tank nerfs, etc. on the movement speed, so there's a bit less of that. Right now, it does kind of raise the question because, of course, they have done their draft in Draft LoL, and of course now they pick their champions in the order of which they're gonna play, not in which they want to pick it in draft. And Elijah picks Hecarim and Obi picks Karma. So either they had a little bit of a miscommunication and they're gonna swap it out, or we're gonna see a very interesting Karma jungle and Hecarim top. I mean, we have seen those things in the past.
Have we seen Karma jungle in the past?
We have seen Karma jungle in the past. As in, like, Moscow 5 Diamond Prox games.
Yeah, I mean, what haven't those guys played?
Exactly. So, I mean...
It's possible, it is a little weird.
We have seen it.
Okay, the swap. There's a swap, we can confirm it is Karma top. It was a little bit of a troll by the 7am Academy squad. But it is gonna be Obi on the Hecarim, which is just normal because that guy plays so much Hecarim. We'll see if he can make it happen. Karma top against Ornn. How badly would you want to be the Ornn in that situation?
I feel like Ornn does really well in a lot of matchups against ranged champions. I'm not a top lane player at all. Also, I just realized that my last normal game in League was 2 weeks ago, so I haven't played in quite a while. But yeah, Ornn does really well in my opinion in ranged matchups. I know there's some weirdos that say Teemo into Ornn is Teemo favored, but I mean, Teemo gets clapped every single time because of Ornn's poke himself, and he can easily just jump in, get the knockup off. Karma's going to be maybe a little bit more difficult. She has the shields to get away as well, and maybe some easier poke. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
How I see this lane, I mean, I'm a top laner, you're a jungler. I've been in countless matches with Karma top, and it's just such a drag every time. It's not fun. She can just free poke. She's gonna run the grasp as well. I mean, usually when you go Karma top, you play her a little bit more tanky, more support items. Usually you do not see a damaged Karma, so I don't expect Elijah to build this as well this game. But we'll see one with grasp, one with poke, and you can't really engage because once you try, Karma pops the shield. She can use the W tether with the heal to make sure that you can bring her low because it's gonna pop off twice. Ornn doesn't have the 100 to 0 burst, so you're never gonna deny that either. So I feel like Elijah will have the prio in that lane. However, Ornn, fairly good wave clear as well with this kit. So it will be most likely farm lane. I do not expect solo kills there or a lot of attention from the jungle unless they're low and there can be a dive setup. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't expect a lot of action in the top lane this game. Caster Curse already, maybe.
Caster Curse already.
5-man top in the brush, invade.
Possibly, I don't know. Something we haven't touched on here is that Ezreal is and Veigar are swapped in position. Either I don't know which of them is playing bottom and which of them is playing mid lane, or there's actually an Ezreal mid and a Veigar in the bottom lane with Yuumi, which would be interesting. We are going to change screens nerf once the game starts. We just have the delay of another 50 seconds right now, so the game hasn't started.
Unless you want to look at our faces while we say what happens, that is also a possibility. But then we'll need at least 50% of the chat saying that they want that, else we are not allowed to do that.
Oh yeah, let's not.
Bound by the contract.
Bound by contract. NDA.
NDA.
So yeah, the Ezreal Veigar is interesting to see. I don't know. I feel like Vega should go mid, and Ezreal Yumi is a strong lane. However, I don't know. Maybe Gamebuddies is gonna whip out some crazy stuff. Damn, we have three votes on faces. We should never have said this.
I have to do a small DM to Izzy that the stream is gonna be a little bit different than we first anticipated.
It's awful. This is terrible. This is the worst.
That being said, to give you an insider, we are in the loading screen right now, so we'll soon give it a little swapperoo. Let's first game pop off, and of course, yeah, let us know who's gonna win. We are on a 7 AM stream, of course, but we're gonna try to be not too biased this game. Everyone has a chance here. The teams are really strong, the drafts, so we'll see how it's gonna go. Rank-wise, 7 AM does have the edge on players individually, so on paper they do have the edge, but of course you never know how well these players are in a team-based game, with the difference in solo queue and flex, of course.
Yeah, of course there's a big difference in how well you are in solo queue and how well you fit into a team. A lot of KDA players are not going to fit as well into a team. A lot of team players are not going to be as well in solo queue, and so on and so forth. As we do see the loading screen, no crazy amounts of strange runes. Everything looks relatively up to par. Cassidy with that fleet footwork. It does look like Ezreal might go to the mid lane, as he has gone for teleport as well. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's going mid lane, because Veigar has teleport as well himself. So it's still going to be interesting to see how Gamebuddies is going to position those two champions in this map, as we are loading into the rift here between these two teams. Game 1 of today for 7 AM and Gamebuddies. They're going to face off, of course, on the rift here to see who can take this first win for them, which is going to help them, of course, go on towards the next round, the round of 16. We'll have to see later today if 7 AM or Gamebuddies is able to get there, or if both of them are going to end up having to leave after the group phase. We are on the rift. We are ready to go. Let's see what these two teams are able to pull off in their first game of the day.
Yeah, you definitely want to get that first win in this game, because then you have a comfortable position to go on. If you lose the first one, you're almost forced to get that win in the second one if you want to make it out of your group. So this is definitely the teams playing for the comfort zone position in this game. We don't see any crazy invades. They just putting up that good old China wall and waiting for those minions to spawn, while Sono was just chilling in the base, coming a little later, but it's fine. Adamant has that side covered.
Right now it looks like both teams are indeed going for a defensive setup. It does look like Ezreal is going to go towards the mid lane, meaning we have Veigar, Yumi in the bottom lane. Yeah, that's a lane we haven't really seen before. Alamed just jumping over the wall here, checking the river to see if any crazy shenanigans are going to go on. And both junglers starting on opposite sides of the jungle. Gonna have a little bit of a vertical jungling, which means, of course, that both junglers are gonna end up on opposite sides of the map once their clear is over, assuming they're both gonna go for a full clear as well. Ezreal casted in mid lane. Ezreal favored definitely in the early stages of the game, as we see him bring flying it down to half HP. What do we say about this matchup, this mid lane bizarreness?
Well, I think it's really smart of them to swap the AD carry to the mid lane, because Kassadin, he has so much to sustain against these AP matchups, especially with the fleet footwork mastery. He's really hard to kill, going for that bot Dark Seal as well, gonna upgrade the potion in the corruption as well, so you're not gonna kill him by just throwing a few spells, because he has that shield that blocks the magic damage. But against an Ezreal, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't block it. He can harass him much harder with auto attacks as well. So you see that Blinded is taking some decent damage, and it's gonna stick as well. So it's gonna be way more difficult for him to get a fair amount of CS. You see him already a wave behind, and he's gonna be pushed under turret and going extremely low in the first blood already.
Wow.
For Slide in DM. Well played by this Ezreal.
Slide in DM, slide in Kassadin's face, jumps onto him, hits the W, gets the auto attack off, of course, with the extra proc of damage that he gets off of that, and just easily takes down Flyknit very, very early on. Flyknit was having a lot of trouble in that game. He has to use his TP to get back into lane. Ezreal's not going to use his TP. Flyknit already used his flash as well. This is a huge advantage for Ezreal as he not only gets first blood, he has 2 summoners up on him, and he has, you know, by pure logic and nature, the advantage over Kassadin already.
Yeah,
It's huge for him.
This is painful for 7M because, of course, the goal for a Kassadin is not roaming or team fighting. Of course, you can do it, but he is just looking toward that holy number 16, level 16, and wants to get there as soon as possible with as much gold as possible. And being solo killed level 3 is gonna set him way back in this laning phase. He's gonna have to respect this Ezreal being able to dash forward. He is not 6 yet, he cannot rift walk, he has no escape, so a lot of respect has to be given here in the mid lane. And yeah, that's just a really good start for Gamebuddies to pop this game off.
It's gonna be an interesting one, as this first blood goes to Ezreal really early on. And yeah, he's gonna, as you said, have to really wait for that level 16. When he hits 6 in 2 levels, yes, he's gonna have that rift walk. Yeah, he's gonna be able to jump on Ezreal, but he's just gonna be able to jump away and do a lot more damage to Kassadin than the other way around.
Yeah,
Of course, once he
I don't think he's gonna jump away. He's just gonna stay and jump after him after he flashes. So that's,
that might be the case as well.
At this point, yeah, I wonder if Slide in DM is gonna build a Triforce or if he's going for
Buff to Divine Sunder.
Yeah, it's gonna make him a little bit more tankier, which is in comparison to the Everfrosts, which does the same for Kassadin. But he's also playing against the tanky lineup with the Rel, with the Hecarim, so it is a good item overall against the team, so this would not be a bad buy at all for him.
I feel like Divine Sunder should be the way to go for Ezreal. Of course, he could go for Triforce if he wants to go for a little bit more sustained damage, I guess, with the extra attack speed in there as well. We'll have to see what Slide in DM does here. We have to give props, however, to Flyknit. Yes, he died, but he's not that far behind in farm. He's been able to kind of keep up with the CS that Ezreal has been putting up. Meanwhile, in top lane, as we expected, a lot of poke coming through from Elijah on this Ornn, but also Ornn is doing decent in the farm category.
Drake being taken away by Hug Me Please and Nopal. We're just doing it there, doing some heals to the Kazakhs. And if we look at the overall state of the game right now, it is early game. There is a small lead for Gamebuddies, of course, with that solo kill in the mid lane. We have an Ornn who does not have prio. He's being bullied by the Karma as expected. Mid lane is in favor for Gamebuddies, and bot lane is doing fairly okay. CS is even, and of course, Viger and Kai'Sa, they just want to farm in that lane, they want to get ahead and scale as long as possible. But now on the mid, a lot of action going on.
A lot of action going on. Great ult by Hecarim, fearing 3 people. Ezreal goes down pretty early here as Ornn is going to come through as well with the horn, with the knock-up, with a lot of damage here. Well, it's going to be a double kill eventually for Hecarim. He is going to fall as well, but it's a 2-for-1 for 7am, 2-2 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Obi picks those 2 kills up for himself as well, giving him a
big ult.
Fair lead over his counterpart. Has gone for the cooldown boots as well, which is not something that I knew is... I mean, do you buy that on Hecarim? Cooldown boots?
Basically, all junglers go for boots of Ionia or Ionian boots or whatever it's called. We see Kazakhs with cooldown boots as well.
Is this the new thing? Did I miss this one?
Yes, you did miss it.
I missed it.
It's been a thing for a while Basically, junglers go for cooldown reduction on their boots.
The bane of being alone in the top lane island. So
you can go for the other boots as well. Thing is, on Hecarim, do you really need other boots? You're playing against mixed damage. Either way, there's a lot of CC there, but basically the only hard CC is the cage and sure Yumi ult, but you know you can run out of that fairly easily. So not really necessary to get the mercs here nor the ninja tabi. So yeah, Ionian boots.
yeah, I always felt like boots of speed. You have that extra scaling on movement speed. It's something that is maybe a no-brainer for him, but yeah, new meta, Ionian boots on the jungler, so old meta that I missed. And the Herald being picked up for free as well by Hugme, of course. Milcold moves out of that bot lane, roaming with him. Very, very strong. And there, yeah, objective-wise, Gamebuddies is doing really well, but of course with that one team fight for 7am, or at least small play in the mid lane, they are ahead in gold nonetheless. But when that Heralds get popped, of course you are before that 40-minute mark. Well, I'm gonna hold it because problem for Vigar here.
Sono is gonna jump in there. It's not gonna be enough though. He used the exhaust as well on Vigar to get closer, not to take away the damage, but just to slow him down. It's not gonna be enough damage, however. They do push him out of lane, and he doesn't have teleport, so they can push this wave under tower, potentially taking away some farm here. Now another gank in the mid lane. Hecarim gonna jump in, flash from sliding DM. He dashes away as well, but Obi is there. Hecarim saying, nah, bro. I'm right here in your face, as Elijah might be going low here as well. Half HP. He's going to retaliate some damage. Now hug me, please. He's going to be in the bottom lane. They're going to use Exhaust on Kai'Sa as well. Yumi picking up that kill. Knock up, meanwhile, in the top lane onto Elijah. A lot of stuff going on here across the map. Ornhor going to come through. Knock up is going to be a hit.
The damage!
And with the passive proc, it's going to be enough to take the damage, to take down Elijah. 1v1 in the top lane. Crazy fights going on.
I must say that has to feel good as an Ornn, and it always does when you are in a ranged matchup on the top lane and you're just this melee tank who gets the rest all the time. Once you can finally get that person locked down and actually get in the kill, it's so satisfying. So congrats on Amicus that he is able to pick that one up. A lot of plays overall on the map. Obi picking up his third kill on the Ezreal. Really smart of him to get find in this game rolling, because it's hard to play against the Kassadin. You want to take prio early on in the lane because of course he has to scale. He is melee in the mid lane. It's hard for him, but you push in and you get camped, and then Kassadin is gonna go all the way back up in that game, and that's what's happening right now. He's doing fairly well for himself, even though he got solo killed early on.
He's doing fairly well, as you said. We talked about the farm as well. He's 10 farm behind, but I mean, that's not abnormal, of course. Same thing in the top lane. Karma is winning in farm. However, Ornn just picked up 7 farm instantly and pushes the wave on her tower. So that's basically even. Another gank here from Hecarim. Great ult once again. He's hit these perfectly throughout the map 3 times already. As Dragon is going to be started by 7am. Doesn't look like Gamebuddies is going to try and contest this, as they are going to start to push in the mid lane and top lane waves into the turret. Now 7am is going to see to try and stop this. Now they're moving towards the top lane. Not a lot to do there. 7am, good job on picking up that Drake here.
Yeah, well-timed play by them in the bot lane right when the Dragon is up. Of course, the Herald is still in the pocket of Hug Me Please, and he's probably gonna land it here, yes. Taking all those plates and going for the first turret as well. So gold-wise, they are definitely gonna catch up to 7am here. But yeah, seeing as they are coordinating their plays, 7am might take the lead back again here in this game.
Herald is going to be popped here. Gonna take down the first turret. Elijah should be able to stop the Herald from getting the second charge off. The eye is going to open. He's going to run in from behind. Does get taken down. They lose that first turret of the game. And that swings the gold in the slight advantage of Gamebuddies here.
And if we look at if we look at the gold, we do see with the turret being taken down, a great lead for Amicusp. He has over 1,000 gold over his counterpart, Elijah. Junglers, of course, Obi making the plays with the Hecarim at the moment. He is a little bit ahead of Hug Me Please, but not as much as you would expect. He's following fairly well with the Kazakhs. And the rest of the lanes are going fairly equal. Of course, Yuumi having some more gold because Melkolp is following Kazakh around, getting those assist and kills in as well. So yeah, for now, the game fairly even. Small lead for Gamebuddies.
It's a small lead for Gamebuddies. They do have a 3-1-1 Hecarim, however, to face on the side of Team 7am. That's going to be interesting if he's going to be able to continue hitting those great ults as he has done so far. He has finished the Divine Sunderer almost 15 minutes into the game. We had some expectations lane-wise. Have they come true? Or have we seen some crazy stuff?
Well, the solo kill for Amicus has definitely surprised me. Normally you should be so safe with the Karma, basically unkillable with all the utility that the champion has, but him being able to solo kill Elijah there is unexpected for me. Great for him as well. If Ornn gets ahead out of the lane in mid game, he's going to be so tanky that it's hard for the enemy team to get through him, especially with the Kassadin that still needs to scale. It's not going to be that relevant early on, especially with the armor that he's buying at this point. Gonna have a hard time hurting that Ornn, and of course Sono on Kai'Sa also needs those 2, preferably 3 items to really start shining on the champion. So it's looking good for the side of Gamebuddies at this point.
Yes, it is indeed looking good for them as the Herald is going to spawn. They did do a little bit of a lane swap. The Karma went to the bottom lane. The bottom lane of Team 7M with the Kai'Sa and the Rel moved towards top lane. So they are going to be able to contest this potentially to see maybe if they're going to be able to do something about this. Hug Me Please is going to go really low as the Killer Instinct from Sono is going to come through. Ornhorn going to come in as well, going to find a knock. I'm not going to be able to do it though.
He gets away.
Great fear. He gets away with basically no HP. Hecarim's going to go really low. Ezreal's there. He's going to be doing quite a lot of damage.
He stole it! Ezreal stole the Herald!
Ezreal stole the Herald? You have got to be kidding me. Obi's going to jump in, not going to be able to find the kill. He gets taken down, but it is a 2-for-2 as of this moment. Amicus is going to be going down as well. Double kill for Ezreal, double kill for Kai'Sa. It's going to be a 3-for-3, I believe.
Not over yet.
However, it's not going to be over yet, and as well the
Ezreal.
Now, this is where it starts. This is where Yuumi Ezreal is going to start jumping around the map. It's not going to be enough, but he actually steals the Herald. That's a win for Gamebuddies.
Yeah, that is almost the worst case scenario here for 7am. Stealing it with the Mystic shot, perfectly timed. So basically Obi misses smites there, of course, has to predict the steal from Hug Me, but it is eventually Slide in the end that steals it with, of course, the Divine Sunderer Brock getting it off there. And okay, they get a kill more in the team fight, but this is of course huge for Gamebuddies. Gonna be able to put that second herald down, increasing the pace of the game as well. They really wanna prevent the Kassadin power spike level 16. So if they can fasten this game, they can end early on so that they never reach that point. And yeah, this is what you want to do against champions like that.
Gamebuddies is doing really well. I was expecting 7am to be able to maybe take control. However, of course, they do have Kai'Sa, they do have Kassadin, both champions that scale really well into the late game. So it's going to be interesting to see if Gamebuddies is going to be able to close it out before 7am actually comes online. Both carries need... Oof, Ezreal trying another steal. Not going to come through this time. Nice try. NT.
He's not using Hex, that's confirmed already. So it's... For all the people watching, no Hex on Slide in the M, he's just pretty good.
Maybe...
Oh, there we go, engage in the bot lane.
Hecarim, insane wombo combo, and there's no way that Melody and Malcolm get out of that one. Double kill for Team 7am. Good gank. Nothing really they can pick up after that. It's a good gank, 2 kills. You know, why not?
So... if you look at this game, we see good plays on the map. We see some coordinated actions with 2 or 3 members. But for now, when it's 5 on 5, it looks like Gamebuddies is getting the best of them. We have to see if this can evolve later in the game. But if there are more and more plays like this, where 7am will take over, because you already have a 4-2-4 Hecarim at this point with Divine Sunderer. You have a 4-in-1 Kai'Sa, which is so important for dealing with the Ornn and basically keeping this game alive for Kassadin to come online, who is also doing well. 0-1-in-5. He only made that mistake in the lane, where Slight in the end got that solo kill, but after that point he's just doing steady, has the Dark Seal stacks coming in, just farming, building, getting those levels. 4 more to go for him to become the menace that he is. And for a game that looked very heavily going in favor of Gamebuddies at some point, with them picking up the pace, it's being slowed down by these plays by 7am.
Of course, Kassadin, Hexflash, giggity. Of course, Kassadin is, he is really strong when he hits 16. We all know that, of course, with a 2-second or somewhat 2-second cooldown on the Rift Walk, able to stack those real quickly. He's, however, delaying his build, but isn't going to stop that. He's going to go super low, gets taken down, and the rest of 7am is going to make a run for it as they find the kill for Gamebuddies. They find the red buff steal as well, and but on their part, not really a lot they can take out of it. What I was saying about Kassadin is he's delaying his own power spike with his build. He's going to go for a tier. He's going to go for a Warden's Mail. He's going to delay his build. And now Obi is going to go really low, has to use that Onslaught of Shadows to get out.
Yeah, they have to respect that they have a member down, of course. Rel is locked up in the baby cage, but gets out right on the... True Shot Rush. Not enough to break the shield there. And what we just saw, the catch on Kassadin, is what we talked about in the draft. They have so much engaged, so much CC on the side of Gamebuddies that once you get caught, it doesn't matter that you have a Rift Walk in your kit, you're gonna die, because they're just gonna chain it up and kill you with the damage that they have in their comp. Of course, they're not able to follow it up. 7am had the tools to escape there, but they might have stayed a little bit too long there, knowing that it was a 4-on-5. But they have the scaling there on the Kassadin. We'll see if it goes in their favor late game, because we said Viger, Ornn, also very scary.
Yeah, I was gonna say the late game on Team 7am with Kassadin, Kai'Sa, and then of course the enablement from Elijah's Karma. If he Mantra shields his team, Hecarim can jump in there. If they do get the combo off of the Hecarim and the Rel with the Magnet Storm on top of that, it could be a lot of damage. Of course, if Kassadin does decide to jump in, and Veigar is stacked and ults him away, then
he's mostly out of position at this point.
At this point, he is gonna be out of position. Of course, if he's dead, he's not gonna be able to one-shot anyone.
Yeah, he's all kinds of things, but he's also very dead at this point. So they pick up another kill, and it's hard to play against this comp. You always need to make sure that you have vision, because he's so fast. Hecarim getting splatted by Karma, and this might be a pick. He knows he's there, and that's a dead Kai'Sa. You're gonna get one shot if you're isolated against the Kha'Zix Yuumi. Yeah, there's no way. No one is gonna win that.
Yeah, that's gonna be rather difficult. But he gets taken down. He is 5-2-2. He has the Collector. He has Gale Force. Kassadin hasn't gone for Everfrost this game. He's gone for the Luden's Echo. I think you, as well as me, are a lot more fan of the Everfrost on Kassadin, because it gives him utility on top of the damage that he already has. But okay, Flyknit going for Ludens, sure.
Yeah, I feel like the Everfrost is for the good old Rod of Ages enjoyers. Since that item is not there, you do want some tankiness on the champion, and the health that that mythic item gives is a good replacement for it. 7M might look for an engage here. Getting decently poked by Slight in the end though. It's definitely hurting already with those items. So they need to make sure that if they engage, that they are able to get the right target. But it's so hard to catch and kill an Ezreal with a Yuumi on top of it.
Yeah, that's probably one of the hardest combinations to catch out of position. Doesn't look like they're gonna try and look for an engager.
There he
They
is.
do find the engage. They do find so much damage from the Sonyas. From Viger is gonna keep him alive. Then eventually Rel gets taken down as well. Kaiser with a double kill already. Obi might be in trouble here. Gets shielded, but gets taken down by the Kazakhs.
not
Look,
done
he
yet.
just jumps in. They get the exhaust down on Hug Me Please. Is it gonna be enough? No! They find a double kill, but he gets taken down. It's triple kill for Kaiser. Can they find more? Sliding DM takes Sono down. It's gonna be a 3-4. Gamebuddies winning that fight eventually. Great Zhonya's there by Viger, winning so much time and giving Gamebuddies the edge in the end.
And we just talked about it. Sliding them on the Ezreal, basically untouched that whole fight. They have so much engage on the side of 7am, but of course the counter engage is there as well. They are able to buy time with the Zhonya, with the CC that they have, and eventually it just slide in the M together with Hug Me Please and Mailcold, who can clean up this fight, giving them a gold lead of 3k at the moment. And we will be looking at the individual gold as well, which is at this point, yeah, you see the Ezreal 10k gold compared to 7.6 of Flyknit here, so he is ahead by a decent margin, we could say.
Yeah, we could say that he's ahead by a decent margin, 10k versus 7k, 7.5k gold on the mid lane, so that's not terrible. Of course, they do still have the 8-3-2 Kaiser, 4-3-7 Hecarim. It's not over yet. Yes, it looks difficult if they're not winning these fights, but they still need that level 16 Kassadin. He still needs so much items to go to be the nuisance that he is. He's actually going for Frozen Heart here, which is, I don't know about this build, but, you know, sure, why not? Go ahead and try some crazy stuff in this Open Tour first game. Karma going for a lot of utility with that Shurelias, with the anti-heal as well. And gonna help them out against that Yuumi. The only anti-heal up till now. Obi is gonna look for the engage. Misses the onslaught of shadows, but Sono can jump onto that follow-up. That's the shutdown. That's a dead Yuumi as well. They're gonna dive this. No, they're not. He's actually able to survive.
Not enough, the Acathian Rain.
To the Ornn. Oh, the Acathian Rain is not gonna be enough. And now 7am starting his Baron.
And they know that the strongest member of Gamebuddies is bot side. Sliding them is not there. Jungler is dead for Gamebuddies as well, so this should be 7am's Baron, or at least a couple of kills, and yeah, they're gonna search for it.
The engage, the Magnet Storm, the stun is not gonna be enough. Ornhorn's gonna come through. Yuumi gets taken down. Ezreal gets jumped into the fight.
Oh, this is difficult.
They're gonna change. They're gonna chase him. Sliding DM is gonna go down, and that's a win for 7am. Huge win for 7am. That's an ace. That's a lot of kills for their side, and that's gonna be Baron as well. This could be the moment where they turn the game around.
Yeah, this was really good for 7am. They made the right call, but also Gamebuddies, yeah, you should not have contested it already. You know that your jungler is dead. Ezreal was still bottom side. He was TPing, but they go in before Slide in the M is there. They basically all die. Then Slide in the M comes there, and he's like, oh, it's 1v5. I can't win that anymore. And yeah, he dies as well, so they get everything. They get the shutdowns, they get the gold, they get the Baron, and they get the lead all of a sudden. A minute ago I said, yeah, there is a 3k gold lead for Gamebuddies, and now, yeah, it's a 2k gold lead for 7am with a Baron. So that's how it goes.
Baron up team 7am with a gold lead, with 6 kills ahead, equal in Dragons. They have the Kassadin, they have the Kaiser to go into the late game, they have Karma to go into the late game. Dragon number 3 for both teams is spawning in 40 seconds as 7am is going to use this Baron to push in all sides of the map basically. And now they are going to look to prep this Drake. It's looking suddenly a lot better for team 7am here.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you have a Kassadin, it's an easy win if you win early. If he's ahead early, then it's already over because he's only gonna go stronger. And if you're not ahead, there is always a possibility that you get to where you need to be in the late game. And Sono being so strong, together with Obi this game, they have really pulled their team out of that early game, which was with ups and downs for them. But now they're all in. They are very strong at this point. If they engage and they fight someone, it's gonna be easy. But Slime DM, not to be underestimated. Still, they are dancing around this dragon.
Dancing around the dragon. Looks like Gamebuddies is gonna just give it up entirely. They say, guys, this is just Drake number 3. It's not the soul yet. Ezreal tries to steal again, not gonna come through. Good smite here by Obi. Gonna pick up the Drake. Of course, smite changes as well. It's gonna be 900, just basically for both junglers. So the steals are possible, despite the level difference. But they do decide to just give it up.
And this is arguably, because there are multiple factors for them making this choice. You give up this dragon, meaning that you have to fight for the 4th. And how are you gonna fight for the 4th? Are you convinced that your comp is gonna scale better with the Viger and the Ezreal, the Ornn, than the Kassadin Kai'Sa? Because it is debatable. They're all really good scalers, but if they lose the fight there, the game is over. Because they have Baron, they can easily push and they take the Nexus. So I feel like that is more likely why they chose not to contest it, just because they have that Baron buff, and if they lose a fight there, the game is over. They really want to play for that 4th one on equal grounds.
We'll have to see if Gamebuddies is actually going to be able to still close this one out. If they lose another fight, I'm pretty sure 7am is not going to give this game out of hands anymore. That's going to mean they probably win all fights following the next one, if they are able to win. Of course, if the next fight goes towards Gamebuddies, it might flip the game towards their advantage once again. However, at this time, Kassadin is 16. He's also sexy, which I almost said. So
nice.
It's looking good for sexy 16 Kassadin.
His sweet 16 has arrived. Everyone is coming to his party except for Gamebuddies. They really do not want to attend that at this point. Yeah, the game has been delayed long enough. We are at the 30-minute mark. We have reached the point that we said in draft that the big old juicy team fights would be there, but they've already given us a fair amount of action this game. And it's do or die for Gamebuddies at this point. The game is slipping out of their hands. They need to find the right engage, because the team that engaged has the advantage, but judge me please, maybe out of position here.
They're looking for the engage on both sides here, as Flyknit is going to teleport in. He, of course, has so many Rift Walks right now instead of continuing the chase. However, they go for Gromp, but now the chase is on. Obi into the backline. He's going to be able to tank a couple things as he does get taken down. Eventually, this might not look too good for Gamebuddies, as Kai'Sa gets taken down. They lose one, but 7am loses.
Flyknit!
But then the kill! Flyknit! Quadra kill! That's a kill! What? They were... Yeah, sure. Okay. Game over.
This is how you celebrate a sweet 16, man. This is how you do it. This whole game. Slide in the M is so strong on the Ezreal. Has solo killed him in the laning phase. Does so much damage. It looks like the fight is going in favor of Gamebuddies, because he's untouched, and then Flyknit says, I've had enough. He just one-shots the backline, goes in for the kill, and this is why you should end the game as early as possible and contest those Drakes and everything that happens before this man hits that level, because now it is looking really, really hard for Gamebuddies to come back in this game.
It looked pretty well, actually, for Gamebuddies in that fight. They were winning the fight. They had taken down the Kai'Sa, which who was doing so much work in previous team fights for Team 7am that you would almost think, you know what? If we take down the Kai'Sa, we'll be fine. It was, I think, a triple kill for Kha'Zix, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. It was a 1 for 3. 7am was losing the fight, and then suddenly Flyknit said, wait, I'm Kassadin level 16. I think I can probably just Rift Walk on top of the entire team. Which he did, and he found a pentakill. So, yeah, Magnet Storm gonna come through here. Hug me, please. In a lot of trouble, and now the Ornn should be taken down as well. It looks like Malcolm's not gonna... So look at that damage. It's ridiculous. That's one Rift Walk. Sonya's 7am is gonna be able to close this game out. A bit of a wonky early game. Gamebuddies looked pretty strong, but the scaling was just too much.
Yeah, good positioning overall by Gamebuddies all game, but at the end, what can you do against so much hate? It's a done deal, and 7am looks like they're gonna take this first game of the Benelux Open Tour.
Yeah, and as we said, the early game went to Gamebuddies here, but we said early on, it's gonna take a while for both carries to come online. Both Flyknit and Sono need time to come online in this composition, and they took the time. At 20 to 25 minutes, Kaiser started taking over some team fights, did so much work, and then of course at the end, we saw the pentakill, we saw Kassadin just jumping in there, and yeah, he ends 6-3 and 12, meaning that the pentakill actually gave him most of, if not almost all of his kills. He had one before, but of course Sono as well, really strong performance. Have to give him the MVP, I believe. Or maybe even Obi, who did so much work early on, did a lot of work in the backline in those team fights, and the rest of his team was just able to clean up. GG for 7am and Gamebuddies here. Game 1 for 7am.
Yeah, this is very promising if they can continue this trend forward today in the next game, where they will be playing against PXP Esports. We will be right back for this banger of a game, so you do not want to miss this.